Hello! Well, that was far too loud. Hello and welcome to Explorers of Elsewhere's Elysia Rising Blaze in the Dark campaign. Hi, I am DM Dan, and I am joined with four of the finest criminals that Elysia has ever seen. Hello, gang. How are crew?
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hello.
Hi. I'm catching up on my note taking. Don't mind me.
Yes, there are many notes to be taken because a lot happened in episode 7, didn't it? There was a lot of moving, there was a lot of shaking, there was a smidge of arson.
Just a
For good
smidge.
measure,
Just
just
a
a
tiny
smidge. Yeah.
Barely noticed.
We find you in the aftermath of a very, very raucous night of rioting and martial killing. Elysia is now a changed city, and to say that you have some heat on you is a bit of an understatement. But yeah, arguably the city is now your oysters. Is your oyster. So shall we jump in? See how the rubble has landed?
Mm-hmm. Different.
Welcome to Elysia, the jewel of the north. On our gilded streets, fortune and fame can be found by anyone.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Magpie, an ace of our lurk.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Cavern, a dragon-scent slide.
Hi, I'm Meg. I'm playing Frida, a wolfkin cutter.
Hi, I'm JC, and I'll be playing Algernon, an ace of our spider.
Hello, I'm Errol. I am playing Atta, a goblin whisperer.
And my name is DM Dan. I will be the games master on this adventure.
So come on in and marvel at our wonders. Make sure you see the beautiful views we have to offer, and don't mind the ghosts. They're friendly, really. Grab yourselves a seat and make yourselves welcome in the city of Elysia.
The Ruby Keep has fallen. Marshal Algarve is dead. This is the shocking news that greeted the Elysians who were not awoken by a night of protest, rioting, and arson. Those who did not believe the news at first were convinced upon seeing the impossibly large charred vines, which now wrap around the formidable, burnt-out bastion like a grasping skeletal hand. Whilst this unexpected phenomena undoubtedly saved the lives of many Elysians, answers are being demanded by many more. Word of the dangerous group known as the Kindling spreads from one person to the next like wildfire, creating explosive division on whether they are villains to be reviled or perhaps unsung heroes. What is undeniable is that the balance of power within Elysia has been utterly shattered, and there are many individuals who seek to fill the void left by our late Marshal. And so, it has been 1 week since the events of the destruction of the Ruby Keep. And whilst the city was shocked and stunned into a period of inactivity in the immediate aftermath, Elysia has found itself irrevocably changed by the events of that night. Given the events, we have quite a lot of stuff to kind of look through that's happened over the past week. So I'm going to start things off by looking at the XP that you gained from that score. Let us start with let's work backwards. So starting with Julia. Magpie.
Hello.
Hello. how do you think Magpie has done in terms
Oh,
of effectively?
okay. So I had a few desperate prowess rolls, which counts as one, doesn't it?
Yep. Many desperate rolls.
Many desperate rolls. It was a desperate situation.
Yes.
And aside from that, I mean, I tried to do the sneaky sneak by leading a group prowl check, but then that just immediately failed. And I feel as if we just sort of devolved into running headlong through the keep, going, ah, as we were beset by flames and blackguard. So I don't know. I don't know how Magpie did in terms of doing the sneaky sneaks.
I mean, it's the thought that counts, right? Like you attempted.
It was the effort.
you tried.
Yeah.
A for effort, E for wait. A for effort, E for achievement.
E for execution.
That's it. That's the one. So, well, based off your like, how much XP do you think you earn off your lurkiness?
Probably one.
One?
Realistically.
Okay. And then off of your like background history.
I honestly don't know that there was a lot of opportunity for Magpie to. I mean, we were very much on a task, weren't we, last session? So I don't know. Really, I know that's not very helpful, but I can't really think of anything specific that she did that was to do with her background.
Well, so just while I'm thinking through that mission, going back to the lurkiness, your and Atta's approach to the job was through stealth, like you snuck in via the kitchens as pretending to be staff.
Yeah.
So I reckon you chuck 2 in for
2 for stealthiness. Okay.
2 for the lurk.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, if you don't feel you did anything on your,
I just don't think there was a
personal
lot of
drives.
opportunity to, which is fine, you know.
Sure. So final scores 2 plus
2
all
plus
of the
the 1
desperates?
for the desperates. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Algernon, JC, what are you thinking?
So I'm thinking calculation and conspiracy, perhaps 2. I was relying on my sort of conspiracy with Songbird and the Ilnashi to sort of orchestrate this whole thing together, and I also positioned myself as like the prisoner at the center of this sort of lie to get us into the tower.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. So 2 for that, yeah. And what else are you thinking?
I think probably 1 for each of the others. My belief, strides, and heritage. I went back to the intelligence corps, had a chat with my old colleague there.
Yep.
And also I relied quite heavily on Algernon's voice, which is taking that little bump of foresight when he doesn't know what to do.
Yes, that very much happened. Okay, so another 2. So 4 plus your desperates?
Yeah, I marked my desperate last time. It was a resolve for something.
Perfect. Okay, very, very good. So 5, including that desperate roll. Wonderful. Nate, Cavern. How did Cavern do?
I think I got a 3 in total.
Okay.
I didn't roll any desperate rolls. I didn't roll really anything because everything would have just been no effect pretty much if I rolled anything because I still got my bruised ribs. Sure. But I did tune into my dragon sentiness of using my emergent divinity.
Ooh, yeah.
And when we were trying to get information for our score, I guess I sort of leaned a little bit into my voice by going to Amber and asking for some guard outfits that they may very well have in their establishment.
Yeah.
And also, I guess I challenged with a little bit of influence by drugging one of the guards by blowing some sort of trance drugs into their face.
Okay. Yeah. I'll go with that. So how much total?
3 in total.
3 in total. Okay, plus your desperates.
I didn't do any desperates.
I
didn't do any rolls.
Okay. Big money, yeah. Cool. Okay, and lastly, Atta.
Oh my gosh. And my memory, if my memory serves me right, I've written down desperate once in my notes.
Mm.
And I think that was to do with the magic portable.
Yep.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah. When you were like hoiking it out a window, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I did any desperate rolls other than that.
Okay.
And I think I can't actually remember what Atta did in information gathering. Oh, I tried to talk to the wizard and failed. And I did some wrecking and rigging of various like traps, but I didn't. The only thing that I sort of addressed with I guess knowledge or arcane power is like trying to get us out via magic and failing. So I think generously I think it would probably be a 3, unless anybody else can remember anything more detailed than I can off the top of their heads. Background wise, I don't think I did any.
Did you not connect with Granny?
Yeah.
Granny Atta as one of our possible escape routes. She was waiting with her boat.
Yeah. And she talked about rats. Juicy rats.
Yeah.
Yes.
We kind of...
She did lots of
figured
metaphors
out
with rats.
Yeah. I suppose, that would kind of maybe
That's
make
you
it a stronger
using,
3.
That's you using your background.
Yeah. No,
True.
absolutely. So it's sounding like 4?
4. I'm happy with 4 pips.
Okay.
For sure.
Marvelous. Yes, so that's all the players going through their XP. The crew obviously gained some XP as well as a whole. So let's have a little look through. Your crew specific XP trigger: execute a smuggling operation or acquire new clients or contraband sources. I mean, you definitely did a smuggle. It was a smuggle of a person. That went. It was more of an escort, but yeah, that definitely happened. I mean, the whole job was it. So I'm going to say 2 for that.
Yay.
Contend with challenges above your current station. You definitely engage with gangs of higher tier than you, being the Blackguard, so 1 for that. Did you bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one? We've decided to switch you to daring. And that job was certainly daring, if nothing else. So we're going to mark you up for that. And did you express the goals, drives, inner conflicts, or essential nature of your crew? Did anything happen that highlighted specific elements that make your crew unique?
I mean, it all went disastrously wrong in hilarious ways. So that's us to a T, right?
Maybe that's the crew name, the Disaster Merchants. That's... I think, well, I mean, the whole initially, the whole kind of angle you were given by Songbird was that this person was the person you were rescuing was integral to like the Sangrevar that had been locked up, and that's quite close to Algernon and Magpie's hearts. So yeah, I would say that there was some buy-in. So you know what, it was the end of Act 1. Let's go for another one there. So that leaves you on 7 XP, so only 3 more until your next crew level up. So yes, off the back of actually the crew leveled up off the back of episode 6. We just haven't really had a chance to look into that. But as you filled up, you get 2 new upgrades or a new ability. We discussed it off camera, and we are going for, and I think it's quite apt given everything that's just happened, the Renegade's ability. So each of the crew members can add +1, like dice to prowl, skirmish, or finesse. So we will
Should we do that now?
add that in. Boop. Yep. So
Amazing.
again, we'll quickly go through. So Atta, which of the 3 abilities are you choosing? Finesse, prowl, or skirmish?
I think since I've already got reckon other people might be skirmishing, I think I'm either going to do finesse or prowl because I'm not very sneaky.
Sure.
I'm just going to look up both of them real quick and double check what they do, but it'll be one of them two.
Sure. I mean, finesse is like the manual dexterity kind of choice, and prowl is the sneaky sneak.
Ooh. Come back to me.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. Cavern,
Sorry.
what's Cavern going for?
He's going to go for skirmish.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Jumps in there.
Algernon?
Skirmish as well.
Skirmish as well.
Yeah. I want to put him in the thick of it a bit more.
No worries. Wonderful.
Swing his cane around.
What's Magpie going for?
I think I'm going to go skirmish, given we've just been in a big street brawl.
Yeah. And a keep brawl as well.
Yeah.
Arguably. We'll figure out what Frida's doing, and we'll come back and update. Have we figured out what Atta's going for?
You all went so quickly. Oh my gosh.
Lightning fast.
Absolutely.
We just know what the prowess skills do.
I kind of want to do a little bit of prowl. I think it's going to be prowl.
I think that's
I've
a good
already got
choice for
wreck
Atta.
messing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I still need to spend my XP as well. Jeez.
Yes. So some of you have got completed XP bars. I say some of you. Is it just Atta? It is just Atta.
Yeah, I've got a completed insight, so
Yes.
I haven't spent anything yet, so I get to put that in one of the insight skills, right?
Hunt, study, survey, or tinker. Yeah.
I'm going to do hunt. Nobody's got hunt, so I'm going to do
very
a bit
good.
of hunt.
Very
Oh, by
good.
the way, I did fill my insight bar, so I've taken another in Tinker.
Oh, marvelous. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, I thought it was more than one. Cool. So the crew is upgraded. You have upgraded. Additionally, finally, you also accrued enough rep to expand the tier of your of the crew of the gang. So you are now a tier 1 gang with a weak hold. That involves an expansion of sorts. So again, we've discussed this off camera, and we do have a little idea at which area we've expanded into over the past week, haven't we? Who masterminded that little growth spurt?
I think Algernon would have liked to get in touch with Lady Newell of the Elysia and sort of thank her for her faction support in that job in the keep.
Yeah.
And sort of using that burgeoning relationship with them, we've sort of established more of a base in Celestry, which is the sort of red light vice district.
Yes. Of all the districts in Elysia where arcane contraband would flow more freely, Celestry is certainly it. So I imagine Cavern as acting as a sort of a negotiator as well, just
An ambassador, as you
an
would say.
ambassador, if you will. Yes. Yes. So, Lady Null of the Elysia, you know that there is she has a number of she owns a number of vice dens within Celestry, and so your expansion into Celestry, do you imagine yourself kind of working out of one of their existing establishments, or sort of like having your own setup that just has kind of an Elysia security detail?
Yeah, I suppose it would be like a second branch in the back room of one of their vice dens, where we know we can go and sort of maintain our operations from.
Sure. Okay. So yes, you're operating out of the Spectre, and out of this Ilneshi establishment in Celestry, just sort of like new kind of contraband smuggling routes expanding to two different halves of the city. Wonderful, wonderful. So that we are translating that as turf. You are unlocking a new turf piece. So that is that. Additionally, we need to look at the rep that you earned from the keep job. So you earn 3 base to take you up to 7. You were going up against the Watch and the Blackguard. Now, the Watch are tier 3, Blackguard are tier 6. So there's a part of me that feels like we're going to have to say, I'll meet you in the... so you get +1 rep per tier higher. So I'm going to say that evens out at a sort of like tier 4. So that is now 3 tiers higher than you, so you get 3 more rep. So you're already on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of 11 rep. So you just off the back of that one job, you're almost nearly ready to have an explosion of business propositions.
Does that include our leverage, which gets us an extra 1?
It does. Yes.
Man. Good try.
Yes.
Good try, Casey.
So coin. The crew earns coin based on the nature of the operation and or any loot they seized. So as part of kind of upgrading your crew to tier 1, you had to pay like a sizable amount of coin in order for that to happen. So I believe it was something like 8 gold, 8 coin. It was a big score that you just pulled off, wasn't it? Arguably
12 gold.
Arguably a major score.
12 gold. 15 gold. 20
I'm
gold.
going to say... you just earned 10 coin.
That's good.
Off the back of that last job. It was a major score. Impressive loot, but major score specifically. However, unlike the cobbles in Duskland, your new turf in Celestry, the Ilneshi are significantly more shrewd and financially responsible than Musto and his gang.
No.
So you need to subtract coin equal to your crew tier +1. So the Ilneshi take 2 coin for their troubles, to leave you on 8.
They did save our asses, to be fair.
Yes.
I don't think we can begrudge them 2 coin.
Yes. So just to bear in mind, whilst you're if you choose to pay the Ilneshi rent for all intents and purposes, it will cost 2 gold per score, 2 coin per score. You can choose not to pay them, but then they'll eventually get a bit grumpy.
Okay.
Cool. So 8, I imagine. Shall we put 1 in each of your pocket, 1 coin in each of your pockets, and 3 in the gang stash?
Sure.
Sounds about right.
Cool. I'll add 1 in for Frida. Cool. So that is the rep sorted. So heat and incarceration.
What?
Okay.
What? Please no. No incarceration today, thank you.
You're currently on 5 of 9 heat.
Yes.
I can't argue for anything less than loud and chaotic high exposure.
We're not the people who set the fire. We didn't start the fire.
That is 4 heat.
No, it's not.
Add +1 heat for a high-profile or well-connected target.
It's not that. They're not that well connected. They're nothing now, are they? The Blackguard burned them down. Not us.
This.
Oh, we've got a Blackguard disguise as well, don't we? To mess about with. Well, Frida does
fun.
anyway.
Yeah, that's fun.
That ticks you up to wanted level 1. Let's add 2 heat. So add 1 heat if you're at war with another faction, which you're not. Add 2 heat if killing was involved, whether or not the crew did the killing or not. The keep came down. There were lots of casualties.
That just seems unfair. I'm just saying.
Well. So you start the week of downtime. Wanted level 1, 2 heat. Okay, so then the next step is entanglements.
Intriguing.
Okay.
Someone just randomly dies. That's not a good face, Dan.
Okay. I think we're going.
I'm with Nate. It should be ice cream.
Ice cream.
We need ice cream. We're so stressed.
Sure. That is the entanglement. Cool. Let us begin with the downtime. Enough of this horsery. Who's the highest stress? Let's start with Atta. You are what, 8 of 9? Yeah, 8 of 9 stress. So you all are conscious that you have to really kind of lay low for a while because you've started seeing in the aftermath of the keep being destroyed, the watch have fundamentally kind of fragmented into roving bands with no kind of central leadership figure to control them. Like a number of new leadership candidates have popped up. These are self-serving kind of officers or sergeants that believe that they know what's best for the watch in general. But fundamentally, a city-wide gang has now fractured into a number of independent gangs. That said, you have all noticed that there are a number of wanted posters that have been going up around the city, and on too many of them for comfort, you can see sketches that look passably like yourselves. But it's currently a bit difficult because the watch, the city watch, is no longer centralized. Instructions on who to report sightings of wanted peoples gets a bit lost in translation, kind of thing. Just gets a bit confusing. But you definitely know in the aftermath, lying low is for the best. So with that in mind, Atta, what is your first downtime activity?
I'm just gonna walk into the center of town. Next to a wanted poster.
Oh, it looks like me.
Just start collecting them, autographing them. Jeez. Question, Dan. If we reduce our heat, do we reduce wanted level, or is wanted level that's just it? We're just
wanted. So the only way
you go to prison.
Yeah, the only way that a wanted level can be reduced now is if they put someone away for it, or you pay an upsetting amount of money
we just made some money.
Haven't made an upsetting amount of money, I don't think, though.
You gotta
While you're
make heat to
pondering
make
it-
money, and then you gotta make money to reduce heat. That's how it works, baby.
Baby, now we're like got cigars and stuff.
You see?
Let's reduce some stress. I think we're gonna try and reduce some stress. I think
In actual fact, yeah, the only way to reduce your crew's wanted level is through incarceration. When one of your crew members, friends, contacts, or a framed enemy is convicted and incarcerated for crimes associated with your crew, your wanted level is reduced by 1 and you clear your heat.
Let's put Caleb away.
oh, we could.
Put Caleb away for our crimes.
There's other people we could put away as well. Who did we? Oh, because we said that the ghost lightning hook was found in the cache that the children of Ire think were the chain bearers. So we could also frame the chain bearers.
God,
for
can you
some of
imagine if we put the
crimes.
Sprite crime boss guy, the chain bearer guy, in prison?
Overmerce.
He would not be happy with us, would he?
No. I thought he was cool at first, and then when Algie had a chat with him,
I mean,
I thought he was well rude.
I mean, he's cool. He's as cool as a mega rich psychopath can be, isn't he?
True. So reducing stress. That's rolling some dice in it.
Yes, so if you're indulging in your vice,
Yeah.
it'll be off the back of your resolve, so a 1 dice jobby. Yeah,
Okey-dokey.
what does this look like? How are you discreetly indulging your vice?
Discreetly. I think maybe instead, because usually at a kind of just it is at the hideout when she's indulging her vice. She kind of will rarely go slightly closer to Bubble to indulge vice, and that's not a good idea at the moment. And I think maybe after this very stressful job, I think she needs a little bit more comfort. I think she maybe goes. I think she's gonna take the wizard orb, and she's gonna go via sewers to go see Asma.
Okay.
Through as safe a route as possible, and kind of spend time with Asma, kind of talking about the Ookie Spooky, and kind of maybe trying to make more of a connection with Wizard Orb.
Okay.
Have a little bit of rat stew.
Rat and tea. Okay, yeah, roll me your 1 indulge vice dice.
Okay, cool. I'm on a good number. It's not a good number. It's an okay number.
So that is 2 stress reduced. So yeah, taking the wizard orb down with Asma. You the orb is quite pleasantly conversational between to the two of you. Clearly the conscious thoughts contained within this orb are quite broad and are really appreciating kind of contact with other sentient beings. But yeah, the two of you, the three of you, have a good old chinwag.
At a spoons like rat stew up to the wizard orb, even though there's not a mouth.
Dribbling over the top of it, so just.
And you put a little hat on him. A little hat on his orb.
Put a little wizard hat
She's
on him.
probably drawn like a face on the orb. I wouldn't be surprised.
How did Granny Asma react when you turned up with a wizard in an orb? Just like, hello, Granny, I've got a new friend.
Pretty much. That's probably what Atta said. Got a new friend in the orb.
I can imagine.
You have a friend in orb.
Yeah, I can imagine Granny Asma is just a bit not nonplussed, just not unfazed. Just
Not
Had to be
unusual.
Gatter. Okay, very, very good. What's your second downtime?
I feel like I will try again to reduce stress because I feel like it's a good thing to do because I've got 6. Even if I roll the max, which is 6, it would be down to 0, so I can't overindulge, which is good.
That's good.
I think when Asma says, "Do you want another cup of tea and another serving of rat stew?" Atta just stays the night.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Granny, it was so hard.
I'm so
Let's try
tired,
another
Granny.
Granny.
Ooh,
Yeah.
very
Oh.
good. Down to 1. That's why we like it.
The night treats
need
you
that.
well.
That's why we
So-
like it.
It's all you
Yeah,
needed,
roll
a night with
5 takes
Nana.
down to 1.
Oh,
Night with Nana.
Marvelous. Okay,
makes
so
you
that
breakfast
is your
in the morning.
that is your 2. Okay.
Fried rat bacon.
Next up, Cavern.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? Well, I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but how are you de-stressing?
How did you know? Yeah, seeing as Gavin is very stressed, and he has been very stressed for quite a while, I think he's going to look for something a little bit more gentler than when he last time tried to indulge in his vices by trying to find some Wolfkin women.
What, when he got beaten up by the police, you mean?
No, when he found a lovely Wolfkin woman
Oh.
to see if he could get his end away on that. I like to think he just ended up in a bin with just like a thumbs up. So yeah, I believe Cavern knows a very nice group of keepers, who like to do things a little bit more in a sort of big cuddle puddle in a way.
It's the fuzzy legs.
Yeah,
Does it? Yeah. Okay.
who'd like to do things a little bit more towards nature. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. Yeah, make your first roll. So what is it for you? It's off the back of your insight, so also 1 dice.
1 dice.
Hey,
you like to see
very
it.
good.
Very good.
What are you down
so
to?
that drops you down to 4.
Hey, we love it.
3 drops you
Oh,
down
it
to
puts
3.
me down to 3. Yeah. Oh, lovely.
That's looking more healthy, isn't it?
That's definitely
So
looking
these
much more happy.
these keepers, where do you envisage they are in the city?
Let's have a little looky-loo at the map. I might need to get on your knowledge here, Dan. Where would you say keepers would usually be?
Well, I guess it's more
I guess it depends on what kind of keepers they are as well.
Yeah. Like, what do you imagine that these keepers do outside of cuddle puddles? Sort of like which social class or what kind of profession? Or
I would probably say they're just townsfolk, but they're more sort of like industrial. So they would do something that would require sort of like a lot of labour, I would say.
Sure.
And then
So probably kind of Dustry Hill or Old Town.
Yeah.
'Cause that's where people the more industrial, like people that work in the mushroom farms or whatnot.
Yeah, let's
which
go
I suppose
with
keepers might be pretty good at.
let's go with Dustry Hill then.
Dustry Hill. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. In which case, as you're kind of nestled in this tangle of limbs, horns, and tails, one of them is just sort of like staring at the ceiling whilst eating these kind of small like button mushrooms that they had stashed away. And sort of like as they stop and they peer at one of the mushrooms for a long kind of introspective moment, and then he says, "Have any of you ever considered like signing up to those garden keepers? I mean, I never really thought about it, but then the people are saying that they're the ones that save the city, you know, like with those weird vines wrapped around the keep."
Catherine's gonna sort of like bite his lip a bit and kind of go like, anything that's close to any of the faiths is bad news in my book, I'm afraid.
Yeah. One of the other keepers. Oh, but come on, Catherine. I mean, yeah, the irons are really stuffy, and like those Yarlans are just insufferable. But I mean, it's just a bunch of keepers, isn't it? They're just trying to grow things. I mean, they're daft. Nothing's going to grow here apart from, well, mushrooms. But I mean, they must have done something. Have you seen the keep? Like, it's all a bit kind of charred and kind of gross now, but they were vines, Catherine, as thick as tree trunks. Just
must admit,
exploding out the ground.
It was impressive.
I mean,
I'll give them that.
It's like they've kind of kept themselves to themselves. I mean, like I knew about them, but I never really thought to. They seemed a bit hippie-ish to me, but
you can speak for yourself.
Yeah, shit. I mean, it might be fun. If nothing else, if they can grow vines, maybe they can grow something other than mushrooms.
Catherine's going to think about this for a bit. And he's going to go with what you think is best for now.
The second keeper nods. The first one's kind of lost himself, scoffing down button mushrooms.
Pass those over here. Stop hogging them.
Okay, so that's your first one. What's your second activity?
Oh, well, actually, considering how much rubbish I've had with strings recently, I wasn't expecting to get that low. I wasn't expecting to roll relatively high. I am going to... just seeing again, I actually would just like to try and see if I can heal myself a bit more. Because I've only just seen it. I've seen it again.
Sure.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so if you're healing, who do you imagine you're going to? Is it perhaps these... are you going back to Jocasta now that you've had a formal introduction via Frida, or are these keepers menders of soul and body?
Actually, I was going to go to, considering that they did a pretty good job last time, and hopefully if we're building up a relatively good relationship with them, I was actually going to go to the Ilnashi and ask them.
Okay. Yeah, so in which case, after your dog pile with the keepers, you've kind of slunk your way over to Celestry, keeping to the back alley so as not to be seen by too many wandering eyes. In a so it is for all intents and purposes a vice den, in so much as by the time you pass through the kind of the low-hanging fabrics, through the scented smoke, like an incense that lingers in the air, this is an establishment that allows you to fulfill fantasies and whatnot. It kind of acts as more of a front for the Ilnashi criminal activities, but yeah, speaking to kind of the in-house apothecary of sorts, we know that the Ilnashi are tier 3. So I'm going to say so this Majani woman, who's quite tall and very very slender framed, really high cheekbones that come into a really kind of pointed chin, and a look of almost kind of, she almost looks like she's constantly surprised, just where her eyebrows are raised so much. She bids you kind of lay down, sort of sit down in this very kind of plush, deep kind of armchair, which brings your elbows kind of higher than your shoulders. The Majani woman disappears for a while, and then returns like a few minutes later, carrying a small vial that's got this kind of wispy, kind of lilac, like smoke drifting out of it. She apologizes for the taste and then offers it to you. So she is tier 2. So let's go ahead and roll.
Oh gosh, does she have to roll for it? Ooh,
So she rolls a 5.
5.
Which is 2 segments of your harm clock.
Getting close.
How much is on your harm clock?
3 at the moment.
Oh, okay. Where's your harm clock? I don't see it.
So it's on the character sheets.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you feel sort of like the ache in your shoulder and like the tightness around your chest from your bruised ribs. So it's just bruised ribs. Okay. So you, as you drink it, you cough and splutter initially, and then you feel the tightness on your chest begin to kind of alleviate as whatever is mixed in alchemically with this concoction starts kind of numbing your. Well, it feels like you're numbing. You feel like with the armchair that you're in, that you're kind of floating, sitting on a cloud, and as you kind of float away out of the vice den, you feel better.
Yeah.
Marvelous. Okay. Next up, let's go Algernon.
Okay. I would like to clear some stress, please.
Mm-hmm. And how are you doing that?
With the magic bath, Algernon's been experimenting with his photography from the roof of Codwellada Manor.
Yeah.
And we find him in his little dark room, printing photographs in the bath full of this foresight chemical. And as he thinks about the sort of stress and PTSD of the last job with all the fire, he just sort of falls face first into the bath, submerging himself completely, and getting that burning foresight sensation as visions flood his vision.
Okay. So that is for Algernon is a... Oh, you're up to 2 dice now.
Yes, my weakest
2
now is
dice
2.
correct.
Great. Ooh.
So that was a 3.
It was a 2 and a 3.
sorry.
Yeah. So a 3. So reduce your stress by 3.
Okay, that'll
And
do.
again. No?
So whilst you're submerged, as you enter into that kind of inky void of that foresight kind of lead you into, like as the sound of the real world disappears through the kind of sensory deprivation of the bathtub of foresight, you feel like you're flying through the streets of Elysia. And whilst you can't really hear independent conversations that are happening between people, you just kind of you feel their emotion, and you feel like the general sentiment of the public is getting more and more aggressive and erratic, and divided. And you feel like you can almost zoom out, like you've got your back to the edge of the veil looking down upon Elysia, and you can almost see the city being carved out, like battle lines being formed among the factions. It looks like the maps that you would have seen as you were traveling with the EIC, the Foreign Service, before you came back to Elysia. The kind of maps that would be laid out in war rooms. And as you kind of look at as tokens begin emerging, different tokens for the different factions, and they begin moving around and kind of jostling against one another, and you can see the battle line shifting and blurring and becoming more erratic and frenetic as they move backwards and forwards. In the center of it, you feel like you're being watched by a pair of eyes looking up at you as you look down. And you can't help but shake the feeling that you know who it is that you think is staring at you. A dark-haired woman, curiously making herself known to you.
Well, that brings me to my second downtime activity, which I'm hoping is to increase the clock.
Yeah.
On my long-term project to find Blackthorn.
Okay. So as you kind of come out the bathtub with the thoughts of Blackthorn in your mind, how are you continuing that investigation?
I think I would like to consort with my old friend Bertrand at the Intelligence Corps.
Okay. Yeah.
And sort of get a lay of the land for the new sort of military ecosystem in Algarve's that the death of Algarve has left behind, because I think a power vacuum is something that I would want to exploit, and therefore Blackthorn will probably have her mitts all over as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, roll your consort, and then we'll see how it pans out.
Ooh,
6.
6. Okay.
Very good.
So a 6 is long term 3 segments on your clock. So 1, 2, 3 takes you to there. Okay, very good.
At 5.
So you're at 5 of 8 on the Blackthorn. When Bertrand sits you down, sort of like you notice specifically that the meeting does not take place at the tower like it did the last time, and like Bertrand takes you to a coffee stand on the streets of Abbotsgate, and before he even says it, you know that like the streets of Abbotsgate are a mess. Like there's just like you're used to Abbotsgate being this bastion of order and principle and everything happening in it as it should do, but the streets are now awash with clergy of the Children of Aya, and like they're just shouting hymns and sermons and like passages to anyone that will listen. There's a very kind of evangelical feeling coming from them, but as you look around, you also notice as Bertrand kind of does his little introductory chit chat, there's quite a lot of like scorch marks. There are burnt buildings, there are windows that appear to have been broken and boarded up, and when you kind of come to and sort of like start paying Bertrand attention, you hear him saying, after the like the riots, they started in Spire Park, and then they just spread out and out and out, and there were people just running amok in the streets, just hurling like alchemist fires at random passers-by and at buildings. It was awful. It was awful. Thankfully, the clerics stormed out of the cathedral down the road and saw most of them off. But ever since what happened to the keep, it's just been a bit of a battleground. If nothing else, just lots of to and fro and to. Oh, it's just a bit. It's hard to concentrate with all this noise and racket.
Well, we were saying, weren't we, it would take another apocalyptic event to bring the two of us together again, and here we are at the old coffee stand.
He nods, and I don't know what's gotten into these kids. Just like I just don't understand what they think they're achieving by setting fire to things. Where are they going to? Where are we going to go? What's going to change?
Well, there are some of us who wish to avert any further apocalypse, and there are some of us in the city who wish to increase its chances, shall we say. The apathy of the last few years has boiled over.
He sort of like nods. He nods in agreement. Yes, in terms of what's happening now, that poor Algarve is no longer amongst us. No one really knows what's going to happen with the ghost because they're still trying to pick through the wreckage and the rubble. But I've noticed the Black Guard have just been lurking around what remains of the keep, just presumably keeping an eye on any ghosts that might be getting released from those poor souls that are in the keep. But yes, I wouldn't imagine, given how feisty the children of Ire are being, I wouldn't be surprised if that Esoth lady's trying to make a bid for Algarve's old crown. But she'd love it if the church was, if the children of Ire were in charge of the city.
The High Priestess.
Yes. They're running amok in Abbotsgate, but as I understand it, they've spread out to other districts as well, trying to bring the light of Ire to the masses. You know, I mean, all of those deviants over in Duskland and Haveney. Yeah, they're over there, but yeah, it seems they're helping in the reconstruction efforts in Spire Park as well, lending aid and succor to those in need. There's something. They're up to something.
Quite well. We've tried military autocracy. Shall we see how theocracy does for Elysia?
He titters and, well, yes. I mean, it can't be any worse than it was with Algarve, can it?
I'm glad you finally admitted, old boy.
He was just a bit stuffy, wasn't he? Though I will miss him. He was, if nothing else, he was good fodder for jokes at parties.
Now, if this isn't too crude a segue, I'm looking for a particular woman that the Corps might have intelligence on.
Okay, yeah.
I know her by the pseudonym of Blackthorn. She's an equal to me, shall we say, in most ways. Equally as competent and attractive. She wears dark sunglasses. She's a Lorivar with dark hair. She likes to have her fingers in powerful pies. I was wondering if you might have heard the rustle of any pheasants now the bushes have been beaten somewhat.
He nods and, well, I can certainly put my feelers out. There's one. I've got a couple of ideas who it might be that you're referring to, but as far as it comes to attractive dark-haired ladies in the EIC, they're a copper a dozen. But
I remember.
Sorry.
Let me go pheasant hunting. I'll see what I can dig up for you. If I can get you any firm names. So Lorivar, sunglasses, dark hair.
Blackthorn, and I'm sure she's waiting around the corner for anyone who wishes to fill this power vacuum created by Algarve's demise.
I see. Okay. Yes, I'll have a look for you, Algernon.
Good show, old boy. Jolly boating weather.
He nods, he chuckles, and what I do for some boating right now. And he sort of finishes up his drink and, right, I have to get back. There's a city to help rebuild, he says. Cool. Okay, so
Ooh, there's some juicy rivals to lovers energy going on here between Algernon and Blackthorn. Love it.
Okay. Magpie, what are you up to?
So, first thing Magpie's going to do is reduce stress, indulge that vice, that obligation vice. I think she's going to put a lot of FaceTime in with the family, her social circle, in the sort of in order. She's kind of going to fully adopt rich persona for a bit for the first few days to kind of feel as if she's out of what just happened, and that's her kind of obligation vice. So
sure,
taking cover and sort of enjoying the relative comfort of her rich family's lifestyle, getting away from the sort of horrendous, the memory of the flames and the screams from a few days ago. So that's what she's going to do. So I think it's just one die for this. Yeah, so I've only got one in resolve, so it's just one. One. Let's see. It's a 6! Whee!
Okay, so you
it really worked for her. She's digging it. She's digging all these plush sitting rooms and rich leather.
After the calamity that was the keep, I could imagine. Yeah, 100%.
So does that take me down to 1?
To 1. Yeah, 1 stress.
Oh my goodness me. Great.
All the way down.
That looks beautiful. I love that.
Much better. Okay, so after you spend some time getting bougie.
Yep. Get my bougie on.
What's your second?
Then I'm going to start training because things are getting real in Elysia and with the crew. We're wanted. It's time to sharpen our prowess. I believe as smugglers with an upgrade to training, I get 2 pips in prowess for this, don't I? So I think basically Magpie is going to spend a bit of time she's going to be sort of sharpening her physical state, her dexterity up. So she's going to do a bit of running across rooftops. She's going to do a bit of old like finesse rapier training, remembering all the lessons that her mentor Samuel used to teach her, and she's going to have Samuel on her mind a lot while she's doing this, because she's going to be thinking how she's got to get Samuel out of jail. That's kind of the next thing she's quite focused on, aside from what the crew is up to. So.
Okay. In which case,
do I just get to do that?
The 2 XP? Yeah, that's
okay, cool. Thank you. 2 in prowess. Beautiful.
Whereabouts in the city are you doing it?
I probably would do it in... I think I'd probably do the training around Cadwallader Manor and in it.
Okay.
I think. If that's all right with Algernon.
Yeah, I mean...
Use his family estate as a training ground.
Well, so as you're kind of going between the dilapidated, kind of abandoned buildings of the Ivory, you notice that with all of the kind of upheaval throughout the rest of the city, a lot of people seem to be leaving the Ivory kind of alone. I mean, there's already kind of a negative superstition around the place, given that it's, the old stomping grounds of House Antelier. But yeah, if there was any kind of incidental through flow traffic, that seems to have largely kind of dried up, apart from all of the most persistent or desperate of people. And as you're kind of going from rooftop to rooftop, you notice that there's a lot of noise towards the west end of the Ivories, sort of like where it connects with the bridge between like the corridor that links Haveney and Duskland, because that seems to be where I mean, you could almost call it like a forward outpost of Children of Ire that are seemingly doing their best to kind of like blockade people from going into the Ivory. And you know that they have very little goodwill towards the Ivory at best, but now it seems like that they're kind of taking a more active stance throughout the city, that they're proactively trying to stop people kind of using it.
Okay.
Almost like they're trying to condemn the whole area.
Okay.
But as you're kind of like peering down at these clerics of Aya, you turn and notice that on a rooftop across the street from you is a cloaked figure squatting, like crouching, similar to you. But the figure is looking directly at you. Unnervingly, the purple light from overhead reflecting off a silver mask that, as you squint to get the detail of, appears to be in the shape of a raven's head. And as you hear like a loud commotion down from the children, and as you kind of look away for a moment, as you're kind of naturally drawn to the commotion, when you look back, the figure is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And are you like where are you heading after?
I probably scurry back to the manor after that.
Okay.
I think.
As you move through the ivory, like and through the kind of the abandoned manor houses, you keep on, like, as you kind of glancing around your surroundings to ensure that you're not being seen, you notice that this figure wearing the silver mask appears to always be in eyesight, but like in different windows, kind of looking down at you, like crouch, like propped up on a gargoyle overhang,
Right.
down in the street, and there seems to be no kind of rhyme or reason to the location. They just seem to be around you, almost like they're stalking you, but you notice that the figure is getting closer and closer with each.
I would like to attempt to anticipate where they're going to pop up next and sort of do a bit of skulking about so that I can surprise them.
Okay. What are you using for that?
I reckon that's a prowl.
Okay.
That's a
roll
very
it up.
classic prowl roll, I would say. Give it a go. What would the conditions for this be? Risky standard?
Roll it as a risky standard.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'm going to roll in contest.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Very nervous now. Okay, I'll go. It's a 6!
Okay. In which case, you're beginning to make sense of how this figure is moving around, and the thing that alarms you is that you notice that you're pretty sure there must be some sort of magic involved.
They're
Because there's
teleporting or something.
absolutely no way they're getting from A to B
Hmm.
in the time it should take them.
It's curious.
And as you move, you're subtle about like your awareness of them, but you just about hear the from behind you, and as you turn and wheel, are you like drawing a rapier or?
I am totally drawing my rapier at this point. Yes.
Okay. So
I'm gonna whip around, and as I'm whipping around, I'm going to hold out my rapier and say, "Why are you following me?"
In which case, yeah, as you turn, like rapier drawn, the figure that's been stalking you stops, and up close you can see the intricate ornate detail of this mask with sort of like lilac purple gems in the eye sockets, and the tip of your rapier is pressed against their breastbone. And as you say that, the figure looks down at the rapier tip, looks slowly back up to you, and they hold you, they hand you a scroll.
Not sure. Sort of, what is it?
They have a scroll held out, and sort of like in this moment you can take in their entirety. They've got this very ornate silver kind of corvid mask, but their clothes are exquisitely fine, like posher, if you will, than some of the stuff that you and your family wear. It's clear that whoever this person is behind this mask comes from a lot of wealth. But yeah, you see like there's a glowing amulet, a slightly glowing amulet hanging from their neck. Their eyes obscured by these kind of amethyst gems. Yeah, like this dark figure
I say,
silently holds a.
What's that?
The figure tilts their head to the right slightly and extends their hand a bit more. And you notice as the hand gets extended more that it's sealed with a wax stamp. The seal of what appears to be a mask, like a mannequin, a masquerade's mask, divided down the middle, like vertically, one dark, one light.
Does that make sense to me? Do I recognise it?
You don't.
Okay. Carefully and suspiciously, I will use my non-rapier hand to reach for snatch the scroll away from them.
Okay. And the figure just allows the scroll to be taken, and then, like, moving their head back to a neutral position, they take a step back, tentatively, like putting their weight on their back foot, and then holding your gaze, they vanish into thin air.
Excellent. Right. And I open up the scroll to see what it says.
Okay. Well, as you go to open the scroll, I reckon that's a good time to have a quick break.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hooray!
So, we will find out who we won't find out who this mysterious stranger is, but we'll find out what the scroll handed to Magpie by the mysterious stranger says in the next half. So, yes, if you enjoy this, please hit the like button and comment down below on what we're going to comment on today. I thought of something earlier and now I've forgotten it. Oh yes, what should the name of the crew's new kind of hunting grounds in Celestry be? Like, what is the new base of operations that they're operating out of alongside the Spectre? And best comment down below will be canonicized. If you want to find out what this scroll says and find out what they're doing for the rest of their week since the keep burnt down, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications when we release new videos, because that happens very often. We don't want you to miss it, and because I think we're at the top of the roller coaster tip, aren't we?
It feels a bit that way.
So yes, thank you for watching. Thank you for playing. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.